Hey everyone, this is Treasures at Home, where home and business come together. Let's get started. All right, well, guys, welcome to Treasures at Home. Today's guest is Kelly Crawford. You know, it's always fun to meet another Kelly, and I love it's Kelly Crawford, which is very similar to me. I am Kelly Campbell. Well, thank you for coming on today. So I want you to I just want to dive right into your story, okay? I want to talk about just kind of, I guess, introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about your family, your homeschool journey, and then let's talk about your business and what you do.
Yeah, so I am a homeschooling mom of 11. We have five still
Wow.
at home. So I've been on this journey for about 24 years. I was a school teacher before that, and have had radically shifting philosophies, educational philosophies since then, but that's another story for another day.
Oh yeah.
Um, but we've always, as a homeschooling family, one of the challenges that we've had that I feel like a lot of moms in our situation do is just struggling to make it on one income. And so that's been
Oh
kind of
yeah.
um, something that I've enjoyed the challenge of. So for all the
Mm,
years I've been home, I used to make it almost a sport to stretch my husband's money, to stretch his dollars, to see
mm,
how far I could, make a
yep.
dollar last. And I think that's an important part of what we do, definitely
Yeah,
being wise
absolutely.
stewards of,
Mm,
of money that God has given us.
yeah.
At the same time, we did enter a season where that just wasn't enough anymore. And
Mm,
my goodness, the Lord has been faithful for sure. But I've always been entrepreneurial. And so I've known that there are so many ways for moms to be able to be home, but also earn income.
yes.
And I just kind of dove into that world and spent a whole lot of years trying a whole lot of different things. And I ended up landing on something that has worked very well for us, which I'll get
Mm,
into later. But that's just the kind of the background, the backstory
mhm.
of
It's
where we
very
are.
similar to kind of like how I got started. I mean, we only have four kids, but still money was so tight. We
Mhm.
were penny to penny. And I'm like you, I'm like a challenge girl. Like give me a challenge, I'm gonna figure it out. I like to problem solve. But there were days too for me that it was a little overwhelming that my husband was like, this is all we have for groceries. And
Yeah.
depending on how that week went, whether the kids were, like it was a great week and it was a successful week, or it was just a burnout week where I was just tired and exhausted, either I was like, okay, challenge accepted, like let's go, or I was just like, I don't know what to do with
Yeah.
this amount of money to feed six people. And so it was really hard. And it was actually out of that frustration that I was crying out to God one day and just like, Lord, I can't leave my kids. If I put them in a daycare, I'm going to be paying for daycare. Like that would be the
Right.
purpose of me getting a job is just to pay for daycare. So I can't leave them. But what can I do? And
Hmm.
I know that in that season of my life, I was very much alone. Like we're talking about 10 years ago. I
Right.
felt very much alone in that. It was like a pioneer. But and I don't know if it's just social media or what, but it's like these homeschool moms are coming out of the woodwork of I have a desire to make, whether it's the need or an actual like feeling called to actually make income from home.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and it's just, as the years have gone on, I think the economy has demanded that more than ever.
Mm,
And I think, just like I said, the opportunity, when you see it in
yeah,
front of you, you see the
yeah,
opportunities there. It doesn't make sense to not go down, like you said, I just started praying for the Lord to show me what could work with my busy schedule. And I want to make, just like I've been a good steward of stretching my husband's money, I also want to be a good
mhm,
steward of the opportunities in front of me. And I know that there
right,
are lots of ways. And so, I'm going to figure it out. And so I set out on a long journey to do that and learned a whole lot
right.
along the way. Um, so
Okay. Did you do any like MLMs in the beginning, or what was your entrepreneurial journey to lead you to where what we're going to be talking about pretty soon?
So yes, I tried to count the other day to see how many different things I've tried, and it's pushing 20 different business models. But I started probably the very first with an MLM with Mary Kay makeup when I
Okay.
was
Yeah.
probably maybe even before I got married. I dabbled into
Okay.
that. That was not my jam. I'm not a big like calling and messaging people all the time to do parties, but anyway,
Yeah.
I've done that. I started blogging. when
Okay.
the internet was brand new. I started blogging, and that was kind of
Oh,
my
wow.
entrance into, like, if I can create a
Yeah.
presence on the internet, then it becomes your
Nice.
storefront. So
Yeah.
that was the foundation of how I started making most of my money. And for years and years, it was just a little bit here and there. I wrote
Yeah.
ebooks. Um,
Okay.
I even sold some advertising. I created my own skin product line
Yeah.
and sold that for a while. It was
So
like very,
you
very
are no stranger of just jumping in and trying to figure something out and getting something started.
correct. Yeah, yeah.
I do have a question really quick back to the blogging. I think I tried blogging too. I say tried, I didn't do it very long. Back in like '08, '09,
hmm
very early on in the 2000s. Do you think blogging is obsolete these days?
I don't think it's obsolete. I definitely think it has changed a lot.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, I would say that's fair.
yeah, because I blogged a long time and then kind of took a hiatus. And when I came back, I noticed a huge difference. Whereas in the beginning years, it was a community. I mean, I had such a strong community of
Mhm.
women that I can look back on those posts back from 2008, 2009, hundreds of comments, hundreds. And I can now
Wow.
put up an article and even, even if I put up, like, repost one of those very popular ones, it's almost crickets in the comment section. So I
Mm,
think the sense of where people are hanging out in communities has changed. Um, blogging is just another platform for
yeah,
conveying information. So as a
right.
whole, I don't think it's obsolete, but definitely has
Yeah.
more been changed.
I think
Yeah.
that's fair. It's definitely pivoted, like
hmm
I still read articles myself. My husband does. He's an information gatherer, and so a lot of that does come from blogs and articles,
hmm
and yeah, so I think that's fair. Okay,
hmm
so fast forward us. Okay, so you were already homeschooling before you actually started this business. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
so how long were you homeschooling before you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do?
So the this is what I'm gonna do came from on the heels of a lot of other, like, I kind of eased into it. But officially, when I started this business that I do now, it's only been 16 months ago. So I have been homeschooling for 24
Okay.
years
Oh,
at that point.
wow. Wow.
Um, and so after, trying all the different things, I really started looking at digital products as a whole, as one of the best, simplest ways for especially busy moms. And the reason that
Hmm.
is because it's passive income largely, not completely, but the idea that you could resell digital information. I mean, I knew that was a huge thing
Yeah,
in the world we live in now, and that you
hmm,
can create something one time and kind of automate
it's
it
true.
and sell it over and over. That was just a dream come
It's
true for me.
true.
So I dove into that for a while, and huge learning curve before I landed on what I landed on that actually worked.
What exactly did you land on?
So yeah, I first, when I decided I was going to do digital products, I decided to create my own. I was going to create a homeschooling course, and I thought it was going to be fabulous. It was going to answer all of our, financial trouble, because
Right.
we had gotten into a place where we were really, really struggling. I had kids that were growing up and getting married, and so our expenses were, becoming much
Mm,
larger than they had been. So we were in a place of needing real income. And so I spent so much time, probably over a year, researching how to create digital products, and
wow.
created my own course in it. I sold a few, and then it was kind of crickets. And I just always had trouble. One of my biggest struggles was I would find something and then I wouldn't really, understand how to market it, or before I
Right.
had really made traction, I would jump to something else. I'm a
Right.
squirrel brain all the time. So I was all over the place. But
I
anyway,
think you and I are meant to be really good friends.
yeah,
My
that could
husband will
be.
sometimes say, "Will you pick a lane?" Because me, sorry, I don't mean to like digress here, but
No, it's
I have
fine.
so many good ideas. And that's my
Mhm.
problem is like I see this need and I'm like, oh, somebody needs to be doing this. Well, nobody's doing it. I'll just do it. And sometimes my husband's like, Kelly, pick a lane, stay
Pick the
here.
lane. It's
Yes.
true.
So,
It's like it's our greatest strength and greatest weakness all together, because
yes.
we full of
Yeah.
ideas, full of all this. But
Yeah.
at some point I did realize that was one of my biggest issues, was just not picking something and sticking with it. So After that
Mhm.
didn't work out so well, we fell behind on our mortgage, actually. It was just a terrible time. My husband was working all he could work. He's self-employed. He's been such an incredible man and hard worker for us, sometimes working 2 and 3 jobs at a time. But I realized I had to do something. So
Mhm.
I had just started praying, and the Lord brought across my feed from another homeschooling mom who wasn't even trying to tell me about it. She was just asking me a question. It was a business model that I hadn't heard of, and that's digital products with resale rights, meaning I could sell digital products that other people created. And for me, this was a dream
Oh,
come true because when I had created my digital products, I kept thinking,
interesting.
well, something's wrong. Either the sales funnel's wrong, the copy's wrong, the
Right.
landing page is wrong. Like there's something wrong,
Right.
there's something not working. And I had spent all my time trying to figure out what that was. Whereas this
Mm.
was, these are products already working. People want them, people are searching for them. And the best part, everything's done. I didn't have to create a sales funnel, I
Wow.
didn't have to create anything. Like it was, I call it plug and play. And so for
Hmm.
me, tell moms, I'm 24 years trying. That's a long time to try and not give up.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty stubborn about it. 20. So I feel like
Mhm.
my heart and mission is to talk to moms who are just exhausted. Like you feel like you've
Mhm.
tried all the things and really you're just done. And while I am still creative and I love to create, I did reach a what I feel like was just an end of that in terms of needing to make money. I just wanted something done for me that worked. I had
So
kind of reached
how,
the end of my like
yeah.
creative phase in this regard.
So how is this different than affiliate marketing?
So with affiliate marketing, there is no investment up front. You have to, though, choose products. You have to figure out
Mhm.
what products are selling. You have to figure out where you're going to share the products. They give you an affiliate
Mhm.
link, and then you go out
Mhm.
there and but you still are left to figure it all out. You have to figure out how to market it. Like I said, what kind of content to create? How do you get in front
Right.
of people who are going to buy your products? And then after all
Yeah.
that, you only make a percentage of your sales. So you're
Right.
still doing an enormous amount of work for a pretty small percentage. With resale rights, they tell you, first of all, how to market, which is for me was huge. I didn't even want to think anymore, if I'm being honest. I was to that point like, Lord, just I'm fried. Like my brain is
Mhm.
fried. I just need somebody to hold my hand and tell me the next step. Like do this, do this, do this. And I felt like I had been down those rabbit hole, like I had done all this YouTube research, and I would find something to be, oh, this is it. This is the thing. And I would watch and watch and watch and watch. And by the end of it, it would be like, well, that's a good idea. Well, I feel very inspired, but then they left me hanging. Like, okay, what
Yes.
next? How do I
Yes.
translate that into income?
But for 15, sorry, there was a fly. For $15 million, you can get the, next
Right.
steps.
Right. And so
Hmm.
that was my big hang up. And I want to talk about this. So with resale
Mhm.
rights, you asked the difference between affiliate products and these resale rights. There's two big differences, two or three. One is you do have to make an investment. And this was foreign to me
Okay.
as the penny pincher that I had always been. I was just, my brain was like, nope, I don't have it to spend. I can't spend.
Right.
But because you're investing in resale rights, I got to keep 100% profit. So those are the two main differences. But
Hmm.
then the third piece of the puzzle was the hand holding part.
Hmm.
They did not leave me. They didn't say, oh, here, we're going to take your money and here's this, here's your thing. Now go figure it
Right.
out. They didn't leave me. And so
I think
that to me was huge.
yeah, I was gonna say that speaks volumes. I say recently, maybe a year, 2 years ago, somebody kind of reached out to me. Oh, you're gonna be perfect for this. It's just a small investment, and X, Y, and Z. This is what's gonna happen. And I signed up, never heard from them again. I kept saying, hey, I
Oh,
don't know what
wow.
I'm doing. Please share this with me. I don't understand. Oh yeah, you just get in there, do the trainings. You'll figure it out. I was lost. I
Oh,
look
wow.
back, and it was during the time that my husband was without work, so that investment was very risky for us during that season,
Yeah.
and I lost it. And of course, as the wife that I carry that, if it was my husband who was trying as like a primary breadwinner and didn't work, I think it'd be fine. But for me, I
Right.
felt that. as the mom. I felt that as the wife of like, oh, great, I just made a very bad decision.
And I think that's everybody's fear for sure. I know
Hmm.
I wrestled with it, and my husband and I talked about it. And, um, I think for me, because I had already done the research on the potential success of digital products, I
Hmm.
understood that if you had a proven product, because that was big, and for people that are out there that want to create their own, that's the first
Yeah,
step of a very long process. You have to validate your product.
right.
So you have to have something people are searching for and buying. I knew it was proven, and then I knew the sales funnel had been created to convert to sales by
Hmm.
professional marketers, like all of those painstaking things
Wow.
that I had spent months and months like critiquing, like getting
Right.
my wording just right. They had done all that for me,
Oh,
so it was
wow.
just like this huge burden, like just fell off. Like I have a business that's literally ready to go, and it was. I literally I was ready, so I got on it fast. It required
Hmm.
some hookup, and then I think I had begun sharing it the next day, and actually made
Oh,
all my
wow.
money back the first week. And
My
then I
gosh.
hit 10
I love
figures
that.
in, I mean, I hit six figures in about 10 months. So
Wow.
I
Was
have,
it a
it's
huge
been
learning curve? I mean, I know you said like you were implementing it the next day, but was it a huge learning curve for you?
not for me, but I did have some background. I mean, after
That's true.
years of being in an entrepreneurial space, I at least had a
True.
cursory understanding of
True.
marketing. However, the program that I got is specifically created for people who are beginners. So we do have
Okay.
a lot of people in our community who say, I didn't even know what a digital product was. I had never had a Facebook account. I had never had been on
Oh,
social media. A lot of older people in our community
oh,
that,
that's
yeah,
true. Okay.
they've just never been on social media. And so,
Wow.
to that end, when I say they hold your hand, they really do just kind of tell
Mhm.
you, do this next, do this next. So I don't know. For
Wow.
me, it was just after working and struggling and hustling so hard for so
Yeah.
long, it was just one of those like, okay, I can
Yes.
breathe and
I'm
focus on a
sure.
really simple task.
Right. I'm sure there's a lot of listeners right now going, six figures sounds amazing right now. Like, I mean, I'm sure they're probably saying five figures sounds good, four figures. So I
Right.
love that. So I like that there's room to obviously grow in this, to learn. So if somebody was interested in this avenue, because this is new to me, I mean, I've created digital products myself, but I've never heard about this resale rights before. So this is totally new to me. If this was something that somebody was wanting to do, where would they go to find this information?
So my website, which every person who gets the business gets their own website, and they show you how to do that. They show you how to hook the whole system to your own website. But mine is called bringmamahome.com.
Okay,
And there's just like a
that's great.
system. Yeah, they just take you step by step and explain how it works. And it's funny, the six figures in a year, in 10 months, was huge to us too. But as I've learned more about this, and it makes me excited for my kids, I
Hmm.
have friends in this space making six figures in a month. So the potential is enormous. And you probably know that if you're in the digital marketing world at all, that
Right.
once you get the right products, and it's a matter of, it's really kind of a math game after a while.
Yeah.
But when you have a program that is so good and delivers so much value, and that's the thing with this too, a lot of people, especially if they've been burned by other things, they've
Hmm.
paid a lot of
Right.
money and then they didn't feel
Right.
like they got
Right.
what they paid for.
Right.
With this, what I have found just from myself and also my
Hmm.
customers, I get emails all the time like, this exceeded my expectations far beyond,
Wow.
like, I can't believe they only charge this much,
Right.
um
This is what I'm hearing is for a mom of 11 to go from trying to stretch a dollar, you've got growing kids, money is so tight to being able to put in the time and start this to actually invest in this and then to see your return so quickly shows that it can be done. Because I know there's
mhm.
probably a lot of listeners right now, and I totally could be one of those too. And I've been in a season where I've been one of these where it's like, I want to, but just committing, just investing a small amount is not investing. It's risky. It's risky, in
Mhm.
my opinion. So, what would you say to those moms who are feeling like, I want to, but that just seems more of a risk right now of giving that up than it is an investment?
So there are two things that I tell people. The first one is that there are different options, so it's not just one price. There are five, we have five programs, and each
Oh,
program
wow.
has additional training, additional help. So whether you start with a top one or you can go all the way and
Okay.
down to the bottom one is only $100, and we offer a payment plan. So literally anybody could get started because
I
$25
love
to get
that.
started. And then they give you the option to upgrade, which I loved. You get of course, you make what you invest. So
That's
whatever
true.
program you invest in, you make that money back. So my best selling product is $1,400. And if you do the math on that, that's six sales a month is a six-figure year. So you can see why it's so simple when
Yep.
so that's something to think about. But as far as your question, um, when I was debating it, my what got myself off the fence was because I knew what I said before. It was a proven product. The sales funnel was built to convert. I told my husband I could sell one by accident. That's what I told him. I was like, I could sell,
Wow.
like, you could just throw this out in the internet and sell one by accident and get all my money back. I know I can do that. And at least I would know that I tried. But the other thing is, this particular type of digital products and digital marketing is so
Hmm.
the options are so vast. So you're not locked into one way, to one method, to one platform. There are dozens of ways
Mm,
to share a link on the internet. You can be on so many different platforms. If one platform isn't working for you, you can learn
right.
another. And of course, they teach us each platform within our program. But like if I wake up tomorrow and I don't want to be on Facebook anymore, or I don't feel like
Mm.
Facebook is working, I can learn Pinterest, or I can learn
Wow.
Instagram,
Wow.
or I can learn YouTube, or
Wow.
there are just so many different options. And the bottom line, if you've studied the model of digital marketing, is it works. It
Yeah.
works when you learn the skills
Yeah.
and apply them and do it consistently.
That
And
is amazing.
there's just, yeah. And so just watching and seeing that it's working for other people, knowing that you can follow those same steps, it just gives me a lot of hope for moms that feel
Yeah.
stuck, that feel I had reached a point I kind of felt hopeless. I thought, I've been trying this for 20 something years and I'm
Yeah.
not making much money. This is, I'm
Yeah.
starting to feel like I'm a failure. I can't do it. Um, so, and
Hmm.
it's a great foundation too, because there are a lot of people in our community who start out with our program and they're learning the basics, the fundamentals of marketing, which then becomes a launch
Yep.
pad for all types of other businesses. So at the
Absolutely.
very basic, and I love it for my homeschool kids as part of their curriculum because I tell them whatever you're going to
Mm.
be doing in the future, you need to learn digital marketing
Oh yeah,
because it's
absolutely.
huge.
Oh, I love that. Yes, absolutely. How many kids you said you still had at home?
I have five still at home.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So, yeah.
What are their ages if you don't mind me asking?
My oldest is 18. She graduates this year. And then my youngest is 10.
Okay. So, with that being said, how much time do you dedicate a day into working on your business?
That's a hard question, and I knew you were gonna ask me that question because it can be done in such weird little snippets. For example, I
Hmm.
can be cooking dinner, and while I'm cooking hamburger meat, I can check my phone, and there might be a comment or a message or something, and I can just really quickly say, "Hey, here's my link, go check it out," and I'm done. And that's work, but it
Wow.
took me 12 seconds. And
Right.
so, I tell people I work in
Hmm.
snippets and I love
Right.
what I do. So they
Yeah.
do try to help us keep that time down to 2 hours a day. That's the goal.
Oh,
But
that's
if you're
amazing.
popcorn brain like me and you're super
Hmm.
disorganized, then you're just all over the place, just whenever I get a minute.
I am definitely popcorn brain, and I think it's because my kids are getting so much bigger. So when
Yeah.
I had four kids in 4 years. So when they were
Wow.
little, they were all napping. That would be the 2 hour break that I would use to do this.
That
Now I'm
makes
like you,
sense.
I call it pockets of time. I have a
Hmm.
little pocket of time. Like you, I'm cooking dinner. Nobody's interrupted me. I've got 2 seconds to do that. Like, I think that that's how I function now. And I've
Yep.
realized that that's okay. Like, I was struggling. Sorry, I'm digressing again. I struggled with that for a while of like, I used to be so type A. And then now that my
Hmm.
kids are getting bigger, I'm type A personality, but I run my homeschool more type B now,
Yep.
in my everyday life because things are written in pencil now.
Yep. I feel the same
It
way.
is.
I actually looked up the other day. Am I type A or type B? Turns out, like you said, I'm both. I'm type A in theory, but my life really functions more like a type B person.
Same. My kids are like, Mom, what do we have going on this day? And I'm like, okay, I have it written down. Give me a second. Let me finish this.
Right.
I'll get back with you in a second. I mean, and everybody's, like I said, my oldest will actually be 17 on Saturday. And then I
Wow.
have a almost 16-year-old, almost 14-year-old, and then a 12-year-old. So life is full speed ahead right now. So I'm learning to really try to be productive in those pockets of time and then allowing myself grace that if I don't get everything off my to-do list, then it's still okay because it's going to be there tomorrow with
Laundry.
laundry. Laundry's in too good.
Absolutely.
Food list
That's
will stay
right.
the same. But
Ah.
well, we are almost out of time. I love all this information. I love that, first of all, it seems maybe the first part is just that investment, but I love that you said that they come alongside of you, they hold your hand, they teach you, they don't leave you. It seems like they have maybe even some kind of mentorship or some kind of thing like that in place where if you're feeling a little lost, but my thing is like what I've heard you saying is like as long as you know how to navigate social media, as long as you know how to copy and paste a link, like you
Hmm.
should be okay. You're just learning maybe some marketing, you're learning maybe a couple of new different things. So it's definitely interesting and I love this. I love this. Like I said, I've never heard of this. I've written some digital products myself, but I've never heard about resale rights, and I think that's great.
Yeah, I thought
And
it was crazy that I had been researching in this space for all this time and never heard of it. That
mm,
just blew my mind. And I
okay,
think it's fairly
yeah.
new, at least to the mainstream.
Mhm.
And then I did want to add before I forgot, they do have
Yeah.
live mentoring. Our coach does live
Oh,
mentoring once a week with us, which in and of itself, if you tried to pay for that, it's so, so, so expensive.
right.
Um, so yeah, you're not
Okay.
left alone. That's the number one thing. She over delivers and
Yeah.
she loves to see us
Yeah.
succeed and she loves to help us. So
Yeah.
um it's a
That's
really
amazing.
it's I hate to call it a unicorn business, but if there was one, that would be what I would call it.
I love that. Okay, so one last question, maybe two last questions. So what encouragement would you give a homeschool mom right now who is wanting to start?
Wow. Not to be afraid, because that was
Mhm.
what almost kept me from starting. Again, like I said, I was in that ingrained way of thinking, save, 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 never spend, save, never spend. And my brother actually told me not too long ago before I found this. He's in a realtor. Built his own company. He's done very well. And I'll never forget, we're on the phone. I said, Chris, I know I can see the potential. I just don't know how to reach it. He said, Kelly, I'm going to tell you something you're not going to like. He said, you're going to need to invest, whether it's in coaching,
Mm.
whether it's in skills, whether it's in products, whether it's in digital real estate, which I think is the best investment you can make. He said, you're going to
Yes,
have to invest. People who make significant income, they invest. That's just the bottom line. And so
it's true.
that kind of got me past my thinking. He's like, he's right. He's right. Even though I don't feel like I have it. And I mentioned we were 3 months behind on our mortgage when I invested. Um, 900 at
That,
the time was the highest program, and I used the payment plan. It was the only way I could do it. But
right.
as soon as I did it and as soon as I was in the program, I just felt complete relief
Mm.
because I knew I had found something that was proven
Mm.
that would work, and the Lord has been gracious.
Hmm.
And and
Yeah.
I tell people not everybody makes their money back as quickly as I did. I already had a blogging audience that I shared this with. That was one of the reasons that helped me.
Yeah.
However, the skills are there to build that audience, and there are plenty of people that started with zero
Yeah.
that have had the same and even are
Yeah.
making a lot more than I'm making. So
Yeah, I can't tell you how
it's
much I appreciate your honesty of being behind 3 months of mortgage and then what you invested. Like, I think sometimes people just need to hear the facts.
mm,
And I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Okay,
sure.
how can people find you?
So I mentioned the website. It's bringmamahome.com. It's MAMA.
Okay.
Bringmamahome.com is my website. And you will, there's a, you'll put your email in to receive a blueprint that just outlines exactly how digital products with
Okay.
resale rights works. There's a video where I introduce my coach and she explains it a little better. And then you see from there if it's your cup of tea. And then it has the next step instructions for people who want to get started. It's a pretty
That's perfect.
straightforward kind of thing.
Okay. Bring mama home. I love that so much. Okay. One last thing. What are you having for dinner tonight?
Oh, dinner tonight. It's probably going to be Chinese chicken with rice. That's one of our favorites.
Ooh,
And it's
okay.
an easy go-to for us. Stir fry,
I love
stir
that.
fry chicken and veggies.
Yes, yes. I love things like that that are just, meat, vegetables, rice, and some kind of sauce, and then you're just good. You're done.
Absolutely.
Love
Yeah.
that. Well, thank you so much for joining us, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to let your light shine before all men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father and who is in heaven. Until next time, be blessed.